Well, observers say it's too close to call. Voters in the Netherlands are heading to the polls to elect a new government this Wednesday. Surveys have fluctuated wildly in the run-up to election day, but some believe the Netherlands may be about to elect its first ever female prime minister. She's in a tight race, though, with far-right populist Geert Wilders. Well, pundits say whichever way the result falls, it's set to transform the Dutch political system. Our guest for Perspective is Professor Joop van Holsteijn from the Institute of Political Science at Leiden University. Thank you so much for being with us on the programme this morning, Professor. Firstly, pundits saying it's too close to call, four parties described as being frontrunners. Tell us why this election is being viewed as so significant.
Well, you just referred to the tight race, and that makes it very significant. There are three or maybe even four parties that may still hope, even on election day, to become the biggest party. And these parties are quite different. There's one major left-wing party, a combination of Green Left and a Social Democratic Labour Party. And there are three more right-wing parties that are, the four of them are fighting for the number one position. And this number one position is very important because they take the lead in forming a new government.
And it's likely to be difficult to form a government, isn't it? Once the cards fall, so to speak. How is that likely to play out? It took nearly 300 days last time to put a coalition in place.
Yes, last time was a record. That was almost 300 days before we had a new cabinet. And that new cabinet was the same as the previous cabinet. So it's a bit surprising that it took so long. And this time it may even be more complicated. At the same time, it should be noticed that the outcome of the formation process in the Netherlands is extremely hard to predict. There's only a very, very weak relationship between the election results, the results that will come in today, and the formation of new cabinet. So politicians may surprise us and come up with a new cabinet within 3 months, and that would be rather quick in the Dutch context.
Do you think it's likely then that voters are about to elect their first female Dutch prime minister?
Well, strictly speaking, we don't vote for the cabinet or for the prime minister. So the new prime minister will not be elected today. At the same time, at this moment, the political leader of the Liberal Party, and that maybe become the biggest party, is a female candidate. And if the Liberal Party wins the elections, then indeed there is a chance bigger than ever before that the Netherlands will have a new prime minister, a new female prime minister in, well, some time.
Talk to us a little bit more about her then, because Dilan Yesilgoz, she's pledging to drive down the number of asylum seekers seeking refuge in the Netherlands, but she herself was born in Turkey and her parents were refugees.
Yeah, the migration issue is one of the substantive issues that has been debated in the campaign, of course. It was also the issue that led to the fall of the previous cabinet. But her personal characteristics and her personal background did not play a major role in the campaign. It was about the issue and not about her personal background. And she's a Dutch citizen, so that she comes from a migration background has not been very relevant in the campaign, and is also not very relevant for the policy positions that she and her party is taking.
Now, she seems to have expressed a willingness to potentially go into government with Geert Wilders. Is it likely that he will form part of that government? I know it's too early to say, really. We haven't even had everybody cast their vote. But are the other parties going to be willing to govern with him, if necessary?
Well, that's very, very hard to predict. The Wilders, the leader of the Freedom Party, has sort of started a charm offensive. He has been he's been less radical than he's been in the past. And from the side of the Liberal Party, there has been some openings to Geert Wilders to potentially include him in a new cabinet. And we had some years ago, we had a construction where his party was not part of the coalition government, but supported a minority government. So he has been close to government, and it is an option, one of the options of the new cabinet, that Wilders, as a coalition partner or as a support party, will be involved in the cabinet formation.
And if that were to be the case, would there be any impact, do you think, on EU policy? The Netherlands, of course, it's been a steadfast supporter of Ukraine, also of strict fiscal discipline in the Eurozone itself.
Well, whatever cabinet and government we will get, it will be a coalition government. And there have to be compromises to be made. And I think that on these major issues, the nexus option, for example, that will not be turned into policy for the new cabinet, even if the Freedom Party of Wilders will be involved in this new cabinet. It's unlikely that there will be enough support from the other coalition partners to start these kind of development.
And after Mark Rutte, he was, of course, in power as Prime Minister for 13 years. Do you believe that the Dutch people are looking for a change in governing style?
They may look for change. One of the new political parties that did well in the polls and slightly less so in the most recent days has one of the main issues to change the political culture in the Netherlands. At the same time, in the past, there have been other parties as well that campaigned on the change of political system and political culture, but that has never been a strong electoral issue. You don't win many votes with that issue during Dutch election campaigns.
And the political scandal that wrongly labelled some parents as welfare fraudsters, has that had an impact on trust in government in the Netherlands?
It has definitely have an impact on trust in government overall. It's not very much aimed to specific parties because basically all parties and parliament and previous governments were to blame for this scandal. So it's hard to pick one specific political party or politician to blame for this scandal. But overall, it has a major negative effect on trust in government in the Netherlands. That's true.
Professor, thank you so much for your time on the programme. We will have to leave it there, unfortunately. That is Professor Joop van Holsteijn from the Institute of Political Science at Leiden University. Thank you so much.